Welcome to Accounting in Focus.
Hi, this is Jeff Ingram. I'm coming to you with another WordPress video. Today I want to talk about the basics of WordPress when you're using a self-hosted site. I've logged in to accountinginfocus.com and this is what it looks like. Uh, Appearances and plugins are essentially the two areas that will be different, I believe, when you go between self-hosted and a WordPress.com site. A few things you'll need to keep in mind is you are responsible to update your WordPress site. You will notice up here at the top of the screen, you will have this information telling you that, hey, there's a new WordPress site out there. I just installed it. WordPress has updated their site since then, so let's go ahead and update this right now. Brings you to a screen. It'll let you know everything that needs to be updated. There is an actual update to WordPress. There's a plugin that we have, and there are some themes that need to be updated as well too. Click on Update Now. Especially at the beginning, there's no major issue to doing this, and it will actually do all the work for you, much like setting up the WordPress site. There's very little you have to do. When the updates happen, actually this time the appearance changed of WordPress. A little pop-up came up explaining some of the features of WordPress 3.8.1. Now, under the dashboard, there is also going to be an updates section. And in this update section, this will go back to where we were before, and it will say what needs to be updated. Well, we are going to update Akismet. I believe that's how you pronounce that. It is a piece of software to help prevent spam from your sites. It's something that we typically use. Let's just go ahead and update that plugin. And once again, very quickly, it takes care of all the work itself. Go back to update. You will notice sometimes the number will not update once you have updated something. Typically, the next time the page refreshes, it will do that, update that number for you. There are a couple preset themes that have come along. Let's just go ahead and update those just to see what the process is. It's very similar. This one took a little bit longer, but essentially we've now updated themes. And if I hit the refresh button, F5, you'll notice we no longer have any updates. We have a up-to-date WordPress site, and that's probably a pretty good place to start from. Later on, I'll be talking more about appearances and plugins, probably in separate videos. Maybe a little bit here. The good thing to keep in mind with WordPress is you notice how there are spaces in the content. So you have posts through comments, and then you have appearance through settings, and then you have this button that you can collapse your menu if you want more space in your screen. I'm going to leave this open. We're going to talk about some of the basics here. Posts are your blog feed. That's what everyone thinks about when they think about a blog. If you want to add new content to your theme, you just add a new post. Now, you can also create categories and tags, which I suggest. Categories and tags will allow you to better organize your content, make it easier to find on your site. Media is where you upload things you want to share on your website. There might be images, you could upload videos, you could upload files, anything that you want to upload and then link out on your website or just to have in your website in general. This is the place you do that. Links, you notice WordPress installs a few default links to some of its information. You can get rid of that if you want to. You can add your own. You can also use link categories to help keep them categorized for you properly. You can also, if you want to link to images on other sites, it's a good place to do it too. Pages are for static content. So if you have a page talking about yourself, things that you want people to have easy access to all the time, You would come to Pages, create a new page. It would add it automatically into your navigation bar. Comments. This is the area where you can control comments. You can look up here for your spam comments. Any current comments. The default comment you see is the only one listed here right now since our page is not being used. That is not too shocking. Appearances. Appearances are where you can change your themes. The installation I use from HostGator, you notice has all of these themes that are attached with it. To change your theme, let's just change one real quick just to see what it looks like. Let's make this the current theme. And themes are the general appearance of your website. You can look for themes that are along the lines of what you like, or you can just sit around and build your own. There are some tools that you can use, and maybe I'll talk about tools in a different video as well. They are just ways for you to organize the blog in the way you want it. This one's pretty cool. Let's leave this one up for now. Actually, I want to go back to this one. 2014. That would make the most sense. We're in 2014. Let's use 2014. Okay. Here are all the features that you can set. One of the most important is probably this. Usually in WordPress, your posts are going to be your main page, and that could be true. However, you can set a static page, which you would create by creating a page. You would do that if you didn't want your feed to be your front page. However, you normally would probably leave your latest post as the home page, especially if the website is meant to be a blog. Featured content. This is a feature they use that's built into WordPress now, which will add sticky posts into a grid at the bottom of the page. It will display images, much like in Pinterest, that people can click on and easily get to different posts on your website. You can define how you want people to access it, and you can actually create a tag that will automatically place you can customize the tag which you use to display content in the front page. If you wanted to remove something from that, you could just remove the tag from the post itself. It will take it out of there. Or you can leave it up there as well too. It's completely up to you. That's the beautiful thing with WordPress. Background images, if you have any, you can easily upload, and we'll add a background image to your website. Colors, you can quickly change the site color. And let's see, we'll just go for red. And let's change the background color from white. Let's make it purple. These aren't going to stay this way. I just want to show the idea. You notice up here, when we change the site tile color, it changed it up here. This site does not appear to have, the background color only barely comes through over here. It's not a very useful feature with this particular theme. However, in different themes, it might make more sense. Widgets. Widgets are another very important area. These control what are in the sidebars if you have any. You can have widgets in your footer area, in your content sidebar. A lot of it depends on the actual theme, where you'll have the ability to place. Right now, we're going to leave it all the same. If there is widgets you need, you can look them up under plugins. Much like anything else in WordPress, you can change the behavior. If you don't like the search, you can actually find a different search. You can get rid of recent posts. Let's say we don't want that. You might not like archives or categories or metadata. I don't want metadata. Let's get rid of that one too. But you have complete control. These are all of the default widgets. I just want to mention right now this text widget. It's a very important widget. Typically, if you're embedding code into your sidebar from YouTube or any place that gives you code, the text widget would be the widget of choice. You would just drag it up here. You would cut and paste the code supplied to you, and you'd go at it from there. But that is very briefly appearances and themes. Plugins. Plugins are how you change the behavior of WordPress, or how you change the behavior of WordPress. They come with two default ones, or at least the installation I used did. Akismet, which is a very good one to use. You can actually get a free key to activate it. I would suggest donating money. They do a very good job to help keep your site clean. Hello Dolly. I do not like this. I am going to actually remove this plugin right now. And I'll do another video talking about the default plugins I like to use, pretty much irregardless of what WordPress site I'm working on. But features that I like to have installed that give me the kind of control I like when building my WordPress site. Now, the big trick with installing a new theme, let's just do one real quick. Let's go social media buttons. Whoops. Is knowing the terms to use. Usually the best questions to ask are ones, or if you can't find how to change a behavior, is to ask people on their pages what they do, or ask people you know that use WordPress, and it will let you know. Here are a bunch of different. Let's just do, and I'm not going to keep this, so it doesn't really matter. But let's just install this one right now. Social media counters. And in a moment or two, it actually goes out. These are all the free plugins at WordPress.org that are active here. When it downloads, they'll give you the ability to activate it or not. And if you activate it, it could potentially change the behavior of your site. If you want to change the way posts are shown on the page, if you want to change how many photos you can upload at once, any kind of behavior that you need to change, plugins is the place to do it. Now it's activated. If I no longer want to use it, which I do not, you could go ahead and deactivate it, but you'll also notice sometimes you'll get new settings based off of plugins that you add. And let's see what you need to get this one to work. Here are all the different social media buttons and counters that come with this plugin for free. Here are the different services that you can say you want to use or not use. And you can actually give a title to it if you want. You can tell in the settings where you want it to display. If you want it on pages, on attachments, on posts, at the bottom of the post. Do you want it in excerpts alone? This one is actually fairly configurable. Looks like pretty easily. I don't know, I might play around with that one later on. So I am going to deactivate it since I'm not planning to use it right now. To deactivate, you just click on the deactivate text button. And once it's deactivated, it will give you the ability to delete it if you no longer want it. I would suggest not keeping plugins on your site that you don't use. It uses up space and it uses up your resources when it updates. So if I don't use them, I like to get rid of them, but I don't always. Users could be a very important area, especially if you have a blog where you want people to register. By default, it is a normal WordPress login they have to set up for your site. You can actually use plugins to change that so they could use other kinds of logins. I'm assuming you could do a Facebook login. I'm pretty sure you can do a Facebook login. You could do a Facebook login. I'm pretty sure you can do a Google login. And I would assume a Yahoo login as well too, even though I've not really researched that one. It gives you a lot of flexibility. You could also quickly edit your profile, edit users, remove users, and you can actually change the behavior. If you don't have a site you want people to register in, you can actually turn that off below in your settings. This is a section for tools in WordPress. If you get tools, they will add in here. This is as an import and export tool. Fairly quick to use. Right now, you can come up here and quickly take care of certain features through the use of plugins. You can use certain features based off of different plugins. You can add in new behaviors here as well. And the final area to go over is settings. The name of your site. Let's change this to accounting in focus. And change this here to add an exclamation point to it. Click on save, and when you change those, what happens is you notice this is the site name and this is your tagline. As long as you keep those things in place, you can change them whenever you want to. It's not hard coded in an image. It is there to be changed under settings. If you ever change your URL, you can update it here as well. And what that will do is it will give you the baseline of your website address when they use the WordPress site. Under here, under membership, you can just you can click on it if you want anyone to register. You can say what role they have in the WordPress site when they register. You can set your default time zone. Our default zone from being in Eastern Standard Time would be UTC -5. Just helps keep your WordPress time in line with the time you're working from. You can change your date format to any of these formats, or you can come up with your custom format. If you do that, you can come down to the button down here and it will give you information on how to further customize it. I like the long date, so I'm going to leave that alone. I like having the lowercase PM, so I'm going to leave this alone. And you can say what day your week starts on. Well, for me, it's Sunday, so I'll click Sunday. We'll save some of those settings there that I've changed. Writing settings are also pretty important. You can actually, writing settings are something I don't necessarily use a lot, but there are a few important things here as well. If you want a default link category and you have more than one, you can select it here. For post, once you start creating categories, whatever your default category is, you want to change it here so whenever you create a new post, you don't have to add the category every time. And you can pick a standard format for your post, which would definitely make sense if it's a video or audio post normally. But there are many different things that you can do. The best thing to do, I always say, is to play around with it. However, typically if you're doing a blog, just leave it on standard. You can set up settings for how to post via email. And if you use an update service, you can put the information here as well. I black those things out even though I don't use them. However, if you want to use them, feel free. And if Kristen asked me to, well, then I will change this one as well. Reading has some very important stuff as well. Once again, it has this idea of setting where you want your front page and post page to be. You need to define both of those if your front page is static. However, right now we're going to leave it on post. I like controlling this one a lot. I hate 10 posts on a page. I'm going to set it to 5, and we can change that later on if we need to. Syndication feeds, I'll leave that at 5 as well. And then for each article in the feed, do you want to show the full text or summary? I'm just going to click on summary. I like to have brief tidbits that will allure people in. And search engine visibility. If you click on this, it will make it harder for websites to index your page, which is a very bad idea if you have a blog and you want people to find your content a little easier. However, you might want to do it. It's up to you. Maybe a few changes there. So let's click on save and continue. We'll go down to discussions, and once again, this just gives an idea of the rules for your site. All clickable. Can anyone comment? No. Yes. Do comments have to be manually approved? Yes. No. If you see a checkbox, it's yes. If you don't, it's no. You can limit the number of links people have to help prevent spam from getting onto your site. And if you have links to other blogs, it will attempt to notify them. These are basic settings. You might not play around much with these. However, if you did, it would be under discussion. Media, same thing. You can set your default sizes for your thumbnails and your images. And a rule of thumb, if you have an image that you want to be large, you want to scale it as close to the number you have here as possible. Because if you have a very large photo that's, say, 10 times the size, it will take up a lot more space on your server. So if you wanted it to be displayed in large size, well, then set the max width and height of the image to that before you upload it. It'll help save you some space and some bandwidth. And you can also change how your uploading files are done. This sorts them by month and year-based folders. I think it's a good idea. It helps. I think it's a good idea. It helps keep your content set. Permalinks. Permalinks are something I will be changing on the site. This is the default of what you'll get in WordPress. I do not like it. You could go by date. That would be perfectly fine. And where it says sample post, it would end up displaying the name of the post. I like using category post. However, this site's going to be a little bit different than a normal blog when we're done. So I'm not sure what the structure is going to be right now. It'll probably be category and sample post. However, I'm not sure yet. That decision will be made by me and my wife, and when I do, I will show you how we will set it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please like and share out the video. If you have any questions or things you'd like to see in WordPress, please feel free to add a comment here. And if you're looking for self-hosting or a URL for your WordPress site, please go below into our links and click on the links provided. We'll get a one-time kickback to help us pay for making videos and doing what we love to do on the internet. It will cost you nothing extra. And if not, just take our advice and run wild and enjoy your blog.